Hello and welcome back to CAD 3D Introductory Course. We left off where you guys have just set up your workspace. So what I'm going to ask you to do right now is go ahead and open up your workspace. And if you go to the log icon to the top left, you should look right to the right, and the very last thing that you worked on should appear in this section right over here to make it a little bit easier for you. So I'm just going to double click, and remember, whenever we're opening up anything, you always do it inside of AutoCAD program. Okay, as of right now, I have a little border up. You guys do not have to do that as of right now. That's going to be in the next tutorial. The last time that I had you guys set up your different settings over here, I had you turn on a couple and I had you turn off a couple. The ones that I have over here, which are your dynamic settings, I think it's going to be a lot easier if you turn off your dynamic setting right here. So where it says dynamic input, I need you to turn that off, okay? And basically, the only thing that's going to do is you're not going to be able to see any of the angles, and there's not going to be anything that you can actually see when you're typing on the actual workspace itself. The thing that we're going to be going over today is going to be some modifying commands. I'm just going to be going over how to erase, undo, cross selection, window selection, panning, zoom extents, and how to move your actual drawing if it comes down to it. Alright, so this is definitely some important stuff that you guys should know before actually getting into any kind of line commands, rectangle commands, or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the difference between how to erase something, how to move something, so on and so forth. Alright, so basically if I wanted to erase this object right here, there's a couple of different ways that I can do it. Alright, I could either go ahead and just click and then delete it, or I can do something else. Alright, I want that to come back. Let's say that that was a mistake and I wanted that rectangle to come back. I can just put U or type in U and press enter, and that is going to undo your very last command. Now, let's say that I have, instead of this rectangle, I have a couple of different lines in here. Instead of a grouped rectangle, I have this, where it's four different lines. If I want to, and I only want to delete, let's say, the two outside lines, I can individually just click them and then press delete, and then they will go away. Now let's say that I didn't want to do that, so I'm going to press U, enter, and it'll undo my last step. Let's say that I wanted to erase the entire outside rectangle. Alright, if you go from left to right, if you hold down your mouse and you go and you click and you go left to right, you'll notice that a blue box appears. However, if I go from right to left, a green dotted box will appear. And basically what the difference is, if you notice, if I go over with the blue box, notice how nothing's getting highlighted. Nothing's getting highlighted. That's because you have to highlight the entire drawing itself for it to actually select it. If I do the green box, however, all it has to do is touch it. As soon as it touches any part of your drawing, it's going to highlight it. Alright, and that's definitely going to come in handy when you're doing some of your drawings, just in case you want to, let's say I'm doing this. I just have a bunch of lines here, like this, and I only want to get rid of a select few. If I take this green one and I go across like this, it's going to select everything. That means that it's going to delete everything that it's basically touching. I don't want that. Alright, so let me say that I just want to delete the inside two lines right here. Or I want to just delete the inside box. I can do it like this. And now it only selected the box itself. I can delete it, and it's gone. Alright, so those are two different ways of selecting lines on your drawing. Alright, it's definitely something that's really important. So if I wanted to just delete these inside lines in one shot, all I have to do is from right to left, it'll highlight all of them, press delete, and it goes. Okay. Now, what happens if I have something over here? We know that if I take my mouse and I scroll in and scroll out, it will actually zoom onto my workspace. But what happens if I have something all the way over here that I want to get to. If you take your roller on your mouse and you press it, it's going to do this little hand symbol. That is going to be able to pan your project. If I want to go over here, if I had an object over here, if I want to go back, I just have to press it, and now I can go back to my original drawing. All right, that's something I use all of the time. So that's one of the tools that you have. Now we have your move command. If I wanted to move this entire drawing right here 5 inches over, there's a way that I can do it. First off, I'm going to highlight my entire drawing. If I right click, or if I go over to the move command at the top of my screen, it doesn't really matter. I can right click and I'll have a couple of my commands over here. I can move this now. I zoom in and it's going to ask me right down here, always look at your command line, move, specify base point. This will be my base point. And then it's going to ask me, specify second point. So from the origin, or from that base point, all right, I can say that I want to go to the right 10 inches, I want to go to the left 10 inches. I can just physically move it, all right, but if I want a specific location, I can do absolute coordinates and go 10, comma, 0. And it moves it over from here over 10 inches. Okay? All right. Okay, so what I'm going to ask you guys to do from here, all right, I want you to take 5 minutes. I want you to turn on AutoCAD, bring up the program, open up your workspace, and I want you to try all of those different commands that I just showed you. All right, I want you to do the erase, the undo, the cross selection, the window selection, pan, zoom, extents, and move. I want you to just practice them over and over and over again and until you're used to it. All right, after you're done with that, you can move on to the next tutorial and you can start doing that one.